Welcome guys, math enthusiasts. In this video we're going to talk about complex numbers. We're going to talk about different operations that you can do with complex numbers for a course in college algebra or high school algebra. Alright, so let's start. First we're going to talk about addition and subtraction of complex numbers. Alright, so let's keep in mind that what a complex number means we have imaginary numbers. That means that when you take a radical or let's say for example radical of negative 1, it gives you I, and then we're talking about imaginary numbers or complex numbers. Also, I squared is equal to negative 1. So a complex number looks like this: a plus bi. This is the real part, and b is the imaginary part. So together they form a complex number. When we don't have a and only have bi, it's called a pure imaginary number. Okay, so let's go to our first set of problems about addition and subtraction. We're going to look at 4 different problems. We look at something, the first one, 7 plus 2i plus 1 minus 4i. The way you do it is that you combine in real numbers. When you add imaginary numbers or complex numbers, what you do is you add the real parts and then you add the complex parts, and then together they form the final answer. So for example here, this is the same thing as 7 plus 1 plus 2i minus 4i. So now we have 7 plus 1 is 8, and then 2i minus 4i, that would be, we subtract 2 minus 4, that will give you negative 2i, and that gives you the final answer. Problem number 2, we're going to look at another addition problem first. That would be negative 2 plus 6i plus 4 minus I. So we do the same step. We do the same type of problem, same type of solution. So first we combine the real part, negative 2 plus 4, and then the plus 6i minus I. That gives you negative 2 plus 4, that is negative 2. And then 6i minus I, that gives you 6 minus 1, that gives you 5i. Oh, actually negative 2 plus 4, that gives you the lowest, the highest value is 4, so you get a positive 2 here. Positive 2 plus 5i, and that gives you the final answer. Now we're going to look at subtraction. So problem number 3 and 4, those are subtractions. Let's be careful about the adding and subtracting numbers, because we can easily get distracted and write the wrong thing. So that would be 3 plus 2i minus 5 minus 7i. Alright, so we'll do the same type of problem, but in this case we're gonna do an extra step. We're gonna first multiply the negative in the parentheses. So we're gonna do 3 plus 2i. We're gonna do negative 5. So basically we're gonna put a positive, and then we're gonna do in parentheses negative times 5. That would be negative 5. Negative 1 times negative 7. That would be positive 7i. So that's the first step. You need to get rid of this negative, distribute it. Okay, the next step is to do just like addition. We combine real parts and imaginary parts. So let's put them together. 3 minus 5 plus 2i plus 7i. That gives you 3 minus 5 is negative 2, and then plus 2 plus 7, that's 9i, and that gives you the final answer, negative 2 plus 9i. Now let's go to the problem number 4. Problem number 4 says that negative 7 plus 5i minus negative 9 minus 11i. Alright, so first step, we distribute the negative over the parentheses. Negative 7 plus 5i. Negative times a negative is positive, so that will be plus 9. Negative times a negative is positive, so that will be plus 11i. The next step, just like we've been doing, we combine real parts. That would be negative 7 plus 9 plus 5i plus 11i. Okay, negative 7 plus 9. Remember, the biggest number has the sign, so biggest number is 9, so that will be negative 7 plus 9. That will give you positive 2 plus 5 plus 11. That will be 16i, and that gives you the final answer. So now we did addition and subtraction. Now we're gonna do multiplication. That's when these things are gonna come up. Okay, so let's go to the first example, problem number 5. Problem number 5 says that negative 3i times 7i minus 5. Okay, so now we're going to distribute negative 3i over the parentheses. So negative 3 times 7, that will be negative 21. I times I, that's I squared. You see here, I squared. And then we do negative 3i times negative 5. Negative times a negative is positive, so it'll be positive 3 times 5 is 15, so it will be 15i. Okay, that's the next step is going to be get rid of this I squared, because I squared is equal to negative 1. So instead of I squared, we're going to write negative 1. So in parentheses, we can put negative 1 plus 15i. Alright, so negative times a negative is positive, so that will become positive 21 plus 15i. That gives you the final answer. Now we're gonna look at another type of problem. This one involves multiplication as well. This one looks like this: negative 5 plus 4i times 3 plus I. Okay, so now we're gonna do FOIL. We could use the box method, but I like to do FOIL on this one because to make it faster. So negative 5 times 3, that would be negative 15. Negative 5 times I, that would be negative 5i. 4i times 3, that would be 4 times 3 is 12i. And then 4i times I, that will be plus 4i squared. Alright. So first step, let's combine these two. That will be negative 15, negative 5 plus 12. So biggest number gets the sign, so it's positive. So it will be positive negative 5 plus 12. That will be 7i plus 4i squared. Now let's get rid of this I squared as we did in the previous example. Negative 15 plus 7i plus 4 times negative 1, because I squared becomes negative 1. So that would be negative 15 plus 7i, 4 times negative 1, that would be negative 4. Now, like addition and subtraction, we're gonna do negative 15 minus 4, that would be negative 19 plus 7i. So I combined the real parts, and I left the imaginary by itself because I don't have another term with it that is imaginary. So the final answer is negative 19 plus 7i. Now we're going to look at the last type of operation that we can do with complex numbers. That's when we have radicals. Alright, so we're going to do negative 64 minus 25. The way you do it is first you get rid of this negative, and the way you do it is by taking out an I, because remember the square root of negative 1, because negative 1 is I, so we can pull out an I and leave 64 inside. We do the same thing here. We pull out an I and we leave 25 inside. Okay, the next step is just to compute the radicals, and that's the next step. So square root of 64 is 8, so we can put AI minus square root of 25 is 5, so we can put minus 5i. Final step to combine imaginary parts. So AI minus 5i, that would be 3i, and that's the final answer. Let's do one more of this one so you get used to it. That would be negative 81 minus 144. So first thing first, we get rid of the negatives. So we pull one I out of it. 81 minus I square root of 144. Next step, get rid of the radical by computing the radical. Square root of 81 is 9, so we put 9i minus square root of 144 is 12, so that will be minus 12i. And then the final step, combining imaginary parts. So 9 minus 12, that will be negative 3i, and that's the final answer. As you can see, we in this type of radicals, and multiplication, we use these facts. Okay, remember these facts, these are important. So that's all for this video. We talk about complex numbers. We look at addition, subtraction, multiplication, and finally we work with radicals. So those are the basic complex operations that we have to our new repertory. Thank you very much. Please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube videos, and I really appreciate it. It really helps.